Hello and welcome to the Untranslatable Podcast. We are here recording episode 38, Fast Food Around the World. We're here to talk about all the tasty goodies you can get at fast food places all over the earth, all over the world. I'm here with my amazing co-host, my good buddy Jared. What's going on, Jared?
Hello. The Untranslatable Podcast does not directly endorse any sort of consumption of this food. We're merely informing you of what is in the world. McDonald's now, for example, I can't, it's just out of, no longer even an option anymore, which I guess I'm not complaining about. But, after I eat McDonald's, even if it's just, the French fries, I feel like I can just feel it within me for hours. And it's like this gross film that's just within me, and I can't do it. If you want to hear or see more interesting things like that, follow us on Twitter at Untranslatable1, the number one. Or if you want to see pictures of less gross things than what I just said, go to our Instagram and follow us at Untranslatable Podcast, where the party happens. Oh, shit! I don't have my...
There we go. There we go.
Or if you want to email us, please do so at the untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com. Tell us some untranslatables that you have in your household that we don't know about. Tell us, for example, ones that I'm sure you've heard of. It's in everyone's household these days. Slipping on gator piss. However, tell us your own personal slipping on gator piss.
That's right. And also let us know what your favorite fast food items are around the world.
Oh, yeah, that too.
They definitely vary quite a bit.
Yes.
Speaking of which, Jared, I have to make a confession right away. Okay. I had McDonald's for the first time since I've been here.
Shit. How'd that happen?
This weekend. Well, I was with a friend of mine in Prague. We went out, went to a couple different bars and places. We also saw this really cool concert, which I'll get to in a moment. But we woke up the next day, and both of us were, I don't know if you could also use the term slipping on gator piss for being hungover. But we were definitely a little hungover.
Slipping on gator piss.
That's right. So we were trying to find this guitar shop in Prague because I was hoping to get a different kind of amp for my electric guitar. And we ended up at this mall, and we were starving. And ended up going to the food court and had McDonald's.
What'd you get? Like a McSausage or something?
What do you think? What do you think I got?
McGoulash.
I wish they had that. I would have gotten that. I think maybe.
Knowing you, if I were to take a guess, I mean I know you pretty well, believe it or not, and I think I'm gonna guess that you got a McChicken.
You're in the right ballpark. I'll give you that.
Okay. A chicken deluxe. I don't know McDonald's menu that well. Now I'm just making stuff up when I say chicken deluxe.
I mean, if you put Mick in front of it, it usually sounds like they would probably sell it at McDonald's. Like you said, the McGoulash. I had my McGoulash with my McDumplings. I ended up getting a chicken nugget meal with fries and a Fanta.
Okay, classic.
Got a spicy chili sauce as a dipping sauce for my chicken nuggets, and that was actually really good.
Wow, that's I kind of feel mama hoo hoo, but that is quite I feel a little mama hoo hoo about that sauce. But the whole dish that is a bold sauce choice. Anyway,
and then also on top of that, they had a German. It literally was called pommes frites dip that I got for my fries, which was basically I think it was just tartar sauce.
They're calling that French fry dip tartar sauce?
Well, here's the thing, dude. I don't know why, but in the Czech Republic, whenever I go to a restaurant, and I mean, you know me, when I was in Austria, I would always get that mayonnaise with my fries.
Of course.
Right? But here, a couple places I've been to, they've actually had mayonnaise. Everywhere else, it's tartar sauce.
Huh.
I've gotten used to it now. But beforehand, it was a little strange.
I don't like tartar sauce. I don't like that just much like tartar sauce, I also don't like what's this sauce you get with cocktail sauce that you get with the
shrimp,
raw shrimp or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't like that sour taste to it. And I can't do them. But I never heard of that.
But yeah, I had to order the French fry dipping sauce because I was really curious to see what
So
it actually was.
Are you just blaming this on late night slipping on gator piss? Wait, no, you didn't say late night. You said this was the next day.
This was the next day. We were hungover. We were starving.
Oh, so there's no excuse.
I mean, the excuse is fast food. I feel like is great hungover food.
You think so? I mean,
I think,
yeah.
Well, depending
agree.
what you get, I think usually it is.
Did it help you? Did it make you feel better?
Oh hell yeah, dude! I had like after 2 nuggets, it was already like the clouds had opened and heaven's light was shining down upon my hungover self. So yeah,
you must have been you must have been very hungover because I'm very surprised to see you go to a McDonald's while abroad.
I wasn't that hungover. I was hungover enough where I would have probably eaten anything, and McDonald's happened to be convenient in where we were. Mm-hmm. But I'm really mad though because had I just looked
a little like I'm not mad, but
you're a little ashamed. It's okay. I understand. Well, here's what
dark
really
moment. Polyglot Con's going on right now. By the way, I mean it's already over for everyone listening to this, but this is the last day of Polyglot Con. By the way, I've been following it on Twitter and Instagram.
Nice. I saw you retweet something from it. Very nice.
I've had to stop myself from like continuously retweeting because I don't want Polyglot Con, like the person that runs it, to be like, why are these people stalking us? Like I really hope
maybe it's a good thing though. We can get an invite to next year's Polyglot Con.
They spent extra money on security just in case. They're like, I don't know, this guy seems weird.
That's true. We are pretty weird.
They make up these
you're not
weird
wong
sayings in different languages terribly and claim to be polyglots.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. I definitely felt a little ashamed, but once that hangover was gone, it was worth it. But what made me angry though, dude, is had I just opened my eyes a little more, there was this really good looking Lebanese kind of fast food place in the same food court. Mm-hmm. Had I just turned my gaze a little bit more to the left, I would have seen it, and I would have gotten some really good shawarma.
That's the power of the fast food places, and that's why these places are, like, for example, McDonald's is known for being American, but it's global at this point. It's like saying Ford is American. It's like, yeah, but they build a good amount of Fords in Mexico, Europe. All over the place. Like these are not obviously more places than that. I just can't think of it off the top of my head. But like these are global things,
right?
And that's how they beat everyone else, and that's why they're there, because it's like, yeah, there might be better food right next to us, but you're gonna see those arches and know exactly what you're about to get.
That's also true. I didn't even need to think about it was either between nuggets or as they call it here, a McWrap.
Oh yeah. Do they do that in Do they do that here in America?
I think they have like the snack wraps, but the McWraps in Europe seem a lot different. They even come in like this special little cardboard pouch that you like peel off the top and that comes off, and it's it's pretty legit. Okay. I have to say though, man, this has been my first McDonald's I think ever in the Czech Republic. And it was actually pretty good. I would even argue to say the chicken nuggets were better here than they, probably because percentage-wise it's still not 100% solid chicken meat, but I feel like it's probably more here than it is in the States.
Okay. I mean, I don't even know how to respond to that. That's just pretty good. You make it, it's just so funny because we're on such a relative scale when we say this in general. But I kind of get what you're saying, but it's just like, yeah, but it's not like it's good.
Well, yeah, it's not like it's... Yeah,
but it's like, wow, this doesn't feel like it's just 100% like, chicken anus. There's some toe in there as well.
Exactly. That's right.
Freshened it up with some toe.
Exactly. But yeah, the night before, though, was really awesome, man. I went to this really cool jazz club called Umaleho Glena in... I think in Prague 1. It's across the river. And we saw this American guy. It was like a trio. It was called the Steve Walsh Trio. It was him, a Czech bassist, and a Czech drummer. And he actually spoke decent Czech and like would switch between Czech and English. But it was all just Czech, instrumental guitar. No, he's American. Steve Walsh.
Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, that definitely sounds not Czech.
Right.
But you said Czech drummer and Czech guitarist or something like that.
Czech drummer and Czech bassist. Yeah.
Bassist. Okay, gotcha. I'm sorry.
Because he was the guitarist and he killed it, man. What was crazy though is I thought it would be set up like there'd be a stage and like rows of seats or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was literally you walk down in the basement of this restaurant that's also like a jazz club. You walk downstairs and there are tables set up like they would be at a restaurant, like little square tables that seat two. And then just there's like it's tile flooring and then it ends and there's carpet. And there's like a couple like booth seats that kind of make like a U shape. And there's just enough room to squeeze a drum set in there. So there was no stage. It was just them right there. And I sat, I guess in theory, this would have been front row because I was I was 4 feet away from the guy.
That is awesome.
So it was really cool. It was a really like kind of, I don't know if it's weird to say it was an intimate atmosphere.
That is not weird
but
to say.
it
That's the
definitely
exact word you should use.
Okay. Yeah, it was awesome, man. We got to talk to him quite a bit after the show. He was a super nice guy.
Awesome.
It was so cool. And they played mostly originals, but he played like an American kind of folk song called Shenandoah. Have you ever heard it before?
I'd have to hear it, but then I've definitely heard the name before. There's also a country club around where I grew up called Shenandoah Country Club.
Nice.
But I've heard the name as in a song form. But I'd have to hear the song to recognize it.
We might have to feature some of his music at some point as a song of the pod because he was awesome. But what was cool about it was Steve Walsh. Steve Walsh Trio.
Not prepared. I don't even have my notes ready. What is going on here?
What is going on?
All right, sorry, I'm listening.
You're good. But it was just amazing, quite an amazing experience to sit that close. Really get to like watch them, and you know me as a guitarist, I feel like I was just tunnel visioning on his fingers, like trying to figure out what
I
he
do
was
that with
doing.
the piano.
Yeah,
just staring at it like wow.
Yep, that was me. He had his pedal board right there, so I was looking at all his foot pedals to get his different sounds and effects.
What did you pick up about him? Like sometimes when I go to concerts, like I go to these concerts I've told you about in this guy's house. Mm-hmm. Actually, the season just started up again. The first one was yesterday, but I did not go to it. But I'll go to the next one and I'll have a review of it. However, my piano teacher, she goes to most of them as well. And she'll ask me like, what did I what are my takeaways from the piano player or whatever. Uh-huh. And you were staring at this dude almost inches away from his fingers. What were your takeaways from his playing as a guitarist to guitarist?
Well, the one thing that really impressed me was his use of what we call in the guitar world hybrid picking. Well, hybrid picking can mean a couple different things depending on who you ask. But what I mean by this is he would use a pick between his thumb and his index finger, and he would use his middle finger and his ring finger to hit the higher strings.
Okay.
So you can get some cool... I mean, what was interesting was they played jazz music, but they also played a couple blues songs, and he played some licks in there, some like little passages on guitar that were, I would say, kind of very country influenced as well. And that hybrid picking is really kind of a country technique, and a lot of people might even call that chicken picking.
Chicken picking.
Yeah, chicken picking, where you
that
have
sounds like something they'd say in like Georgia in the 60s or something.
Yeah, but so that was one big takeaway from him was just his right hand technique, how he would play with the pick and then use his other fingers. And then what was really cool is he would take a lot of guitarists, what they'll do is if they switch from holding a pick to using all their fingers, like their thumb, their index, their middle, their ring finger. Some guitarists use their pinky, most don't, just because it's not as strong of a finger as your other ones. What he would do, which I've never seen before, is a lot of guitarists, like what I used to do back when I played in a couple bands, is I would put the pick in my mouth. I kid you not. I'd be playing, plopping in my mouth, have my free fingers, pull it back out, and then start playing again.
Which is not very hygienic.
That's one problem. Definitely not sanitary or hygienic. But two, when you start to play again with the pick, it's a little wet, right? And so
so it's a little slippery. Yeah, usually, like ideally, you wipe it off on your shirt first.
Right. Unfortunately, spur of the moment, there's usually not time for that. But what he would do, I wish I had a pick with me, but what he would do is he'd take the pick and he'd like hold it in his index finger, like in between his, not like in between his knuckle, but he would like make like he would curve his index finger and rest the pick where the curve was. And then I've tried it now since I've gotten home and I've played guitar a little bit, and it works and it's really good. The only
Wait,
bad
so
thing
did you
is,
just not use that finger to play?
right? So you only can use these two and your thumb.
Explain what those two were. You just showed me.
Sorry, yeah. So you can use your index, ring, and thumb. So you have
Okay.
3 fingers free. Well, technically 4 if you use your pinky.
That takes great
what-
dexterity too, because I don't think I have that level of dexterity. Granted, I've never practiced guitar in my life, so.
I feel like if you practice that you could. I've also seen other guitarists. I don't know how they do it, but they'll put the pick in between their index and their middle finger. But I don't get how they put it there and then can pull it out. But when
Right.
you have it right in your index finger, you just move your finger back down and you can put your thumb there and it's ready to go.
Are you going to start using that technique?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Did you tell him that you're going to start using it?
I did. I actually, after the show, I asked him, I said, where did you learn that? And he said, well, it was just kind of out of necessity. Because he mentioned, too, the same thing where there are some players who will put the pick in between their index and their middle finger. But the problem with that is when you have your fingers together like that, you can, it's basically the same thing as if you were to have it only held in your index finger. But with your index finger, I think the transition from playing with a pick to with your fingers is faster.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And he just said, yeah, one day it just kind of came to him and it just came out of necessity. So that was really cool. The other thing that I loved about the concert, besides just the band's music in general, was he had some killer guitar faces. Absolutely killer.
We love the guitar faces.
Oh, for sure. I feel like you can't be an accomplished musician and not make awesome guitar faces.
Yeah. It's like one of those things where it's like, if you don't have the good face, don't even bother. That's part of it is the face.
Mm-hmm. And so he would just make all these faces, and what I really liked is when he'd play something really cool, which I could tell a lot of it was not improvised because it was like parts of the melody or whatever. Mm-hmm. But when he would break away for solo, if he played something kind of cool, he'd get like a little smile on his face.
Oh yeah,
and that would make me smile immediately. Yeah. So it was a great experience though, man. So shout out to the Steve Walsh trio and Steve Walsh specifically for in between one of the sets, he came out to tune up his guitar and he asked us right in the very beginning of the show, where's everybody from? And of course, me being a proud Michigander, I was like, Michigan.
Yeah.
And so he knew that me and my buddy David were Americans, and so he was talking to us in between during the intermission. And it was just so cool to meet such an amazing musician who was willing to talk to me about guitar, also welcome my buddy David and just talk to us about whatever, and even sat down and talked with us after the show for about 20 minutes. So it was really great.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome. That sounds like fun. Chad, you're not the only one that experienced some great music this weekend. So I also had a great musical experience on Saturday, although it didn't last longer, but the day lasted longer. It was, I need to give a thank you and a great shout out to the lovely and wonderful, let me see, I forgot what it was called. My Father's Business Wealth Management Company. They are, if you're looking to invest for the future, I highly recommend My Father's Business. They're actually, it's, so, anyway, I'm not even kidding. So, anyway, I'll just tell you about the entire day. So, I went to, so my piano teacher invited me and these 2 other people to, that were her friends. I knew I was going with their friends to, some sort of theater-related thing, but she was so vague about it. I don't even think she knew what the fuck was going on. I think she did, actually, but she was real vague about it. Anyway. So, little did I know, first of all, that this, her group of friends, I thought it would just be some other old ladies. It was a ragtag group of people. It was all women, but one of them was like this 5-year-old Brazilian woman that babysits this rich woman, and she
Wait, babysits the rich woman?
Well, kind of, to be honest with you, if you heard her talk about it, because she plans everything. She has all of her credit cards, but she also has kids. I meant to say the kids, But she actually hired the woman before she has kids, so she kind of started off out as her assistant, and then started like also taking care of the kids and stuff. And so she's been doing that forever, and she's been trying to. Anyway, I know way too much about these people. And then also this other woman that's maybe like in her early 50s. That apparently they met at a comedy show. I kept wanting to ask who was the comedian, but for some reason I never did because I'm like, it's no one I care about. Like, let's be honest. It's not like she was gonna say she was at like a Dave Chappelle show.
Bro, what if she was like, yeah, we met Richard Pryor?
It was not that long. It was pretty recent. They haven't known each other that long.
Fair enough.
I was like, what was this like his hologram or something? No, they met like I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago at this point. But they met at a comedy show just randomly. So apparently they were both there alone, and the woman, the friend, was sitting there. My piano teacher walked up, and she's like, "Are you also here alone?" And the woman's like, "Yeah." Or she's like, "Are you here alone?" She's like, "Yes." She's like, "I am here. Do you want to? Would you mind if we sat together and enjoyed this comedian together, or whatever old ladies say?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure." Right. And apparently they've been friends ever since.
Nice.
And when I heard that, I was like, "This is so." But anyway.
I feel like that might be something I would try.
Well, that's good. I would never do that, but I wish I had that sort of chutzpah. There's an early for you.
That's true.
So anyway, we were told to meet at her place at 9 sharp, 9 o'clock sharp, and me and the comedy show woman did. Her name is. Comedy show woman.
You can just call her comedy show woman.
Adrian. Comedy show woman's too long. We got there right on time. The Brazilian lady, she got there a little bit later, which was not a big deal. However, I don't need to get into this whole thing about realizing that my piano teacher is an older woman, watching her use Waze, and her thinking that she's following it, but actually following the fact that the highway is just purple because she had accidentally turned it off, and then realizing that she accidentally turned off the sound. And not knowing how to turn the sound back on, and me just sitting in the back seat watching this. She pulled over twice on the way to the. We all drove together in her car. She drove. She pulled over twice or 3 times, excuse me, maybe even 3 times on the way to the show, trying to figure out the navigation. 2 of the times I just sat in the back seat, knowing exactly what the fuck was wrong because I'm 26, and all I need to do was glance at the phone for a second and be like, yeah, I know how to fix this, and I know why it's exactly what you're talking about. But I was just in the back of the car like this. just letting it happen because I didn't want to be that person though. Is just like there is a line, there's a fine line between helping and then being that person that's just let me just show you how to do it. So I was like, you'll figure it out. Like you're not gonna not figure it out. But it took a while, and I was sitting in the back like. Are you kidding me? Really? You just hit the goddamn button. Right. I'm like, no, you got it. And then eventually, even the woman that was 35 who was in the front seat. Also, I was not in the front seat. Right. And the 35-year-old woman.
I feel like that also makes a difference.
Right. She asked the 35-year-old woman who was sitting next to her in the front seat to help, and I was like, you're young enough to understand how to use this. I have been in your phone this entire time, and you don't know how to use this thing? And I was just in the back seat like, I could have solved this in 10 seconds while we were still going down the road. We actually went past the exit. And I didn't realize that because her navigation wasn't on. It was just showing anyway. So we got there a little bit late. Thank God we got there late. Oh, my God. Because I didn't realize this whole thing was a my father's business wealth management annual client event. So what it is that at the beginning, there's an hour talk where they explain sort of the state of the market, and they talk about investing and why you should invest and all this stuff and try to just convince you to invest more and keep investing and get more people. And this is the state of the industry, and this is how we plan to move with your money in general based off of the economy and all that stuff. Shit, I don't give a fuck about. I mean, I do. Let's be clear. I care about investing money, but I'm not going to go to this company. Let's be honest. They have, I don't think our views align. Let's just leave it at that.
Fair enough.
Oh, by the way, this place was out in full-on Amish country, as in driving around horses and carriages on major roads.
Nice.
And these carriages are rickety as shit. All of them look like they're about to tilt over. I was like, you can't even get a slightly more modern tire on this thing, or wheel hub assembly. Like, it's so rickety.
Right.
But
You
I
gotta
mean,
go
they're
with that
living that
tradition, man. Who
hashtag
knows?
Amish life. I get it.
Right. Hashtag grinding.
In my notes, I actually wrote hashtag Amish life with a Y.
Nice. You should have snapped a picture of them in their
It was
rickety
hard because
carriage.
we were in the car, and it was just tough. But I wanted
That's
to.
fair. Anyways, you mentioned music. I'm still curious how
Right.
you...
That's exactly what I was thinking so we got to this thing like 20 minutes before they were done with the little speech about, and I was like, I was ready. Like, even at 20 minutes, at 5 minutes, I was like, all right, this needs to be over. There was no signal down there, so I couldn't even stare at my phone if I wanted to. And so this guy was talking, and so then we're gonna have lunch, and after that we're gonna have the show. And so lunch was fucking 2 hours long, and it was a buffet style, and it was Pennsylvania Dutch food and a salad bar. And I don't even know
what exactly is Pennsylvania
dude. I don't
Dutch
know
food.
I don't know, but it was all heavy as shit, and it was all like
Sounds like Czech food.
like a lot of carbs. Yeah, it's very similar.
Uh-huh.
A lot of like heavy meats and potatoes and starches and I just like it was just like if I can't eat this because then I'm gonna be like I don't know. Anyway, so that was 2 hours long, which a little too long if I do say so myself. My piano teacher who talks to everyone is introducing us to her her client and like her wealth management dude. I was like, I don't give. I so wanted to just look at his face and be like, hey, nice to meet you. Fuck you. Just because I was like, I don't want to meet this guy. I don't want to meet any of these people. And like as soon as I walked into this place and I started listening to this guy talk, I was like, why the fuck am I here? I was the youngest person in there. No lie, besides for that 35-year-old woman who came with us, I was the youngest person in there by probably 40 years.
Nice.
And that might even be generous. It might be 45. And I was like, oh
hey man,
my God.
you're just ahead of the curve. Who knows?
Oh, there are a
I've
lot
been
of baseball.
like that at a lot of places.
A lot
too.
of baseball references, like don't this. What's the size of a baseball home plate in professional? 19 inches or 17 inches, whatever it is. How about in Little League? It's 17 inches. Don't change the size of the And so I mentioned that there was all of these baseball themes. Also because we all had name tags, which also had like little baseball things on, like bats or gloves on them. And then after that, which I have the playbill right here. Actually, I'm glad you asked. We were delighted to lovely theater, a musical, the new musical apparently called The Home Game. I can't even
Continuing with
this
this baseball theme, huh?
The Home Game, I even wrote my own. I was so excited for this. I even wrote my own synopsis of it. Young Amish boy, Levi Troyer, is obsessed with baseball. It's all he cares about, so much so that it causes him to ignore his chores, leaving his older brother to clean up his messes. When I was writing it, I didn't write in all those just to be clear. A big shot, fast-talking New York agent finds Levi and signs him to the Vegas Vipers, which is a professional MLB baseball league. He finds him playing he was just playing with the boys in the cornfield that they cleared out. Levi struggles to adjust to the high-paced city lifestyle, falling victim to alcoholism and gambling, while
God,
simultaneously
that's a quick
losing contact with his family and roots via brotherly guilt and sabotage.
Oh wow!
It takes hitting rock bottom for Levi to remember what's important to him, and that's that Amish life, and that's where I put hashtag Amish hashtag that Amish life.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. That synopsis kind of makes me want to go see it. Was it pretty good? Like, how many would you give it how many stars?
Think about it as community theater. Think about it as if you were going to, let's say Battle Creek, that little theater in Battle Creek, where they put on like community plays, that kind of
Right.
promote.
We
production
did
level.
community theater in Dexter, so I know exactly what you mean.
Apparently, like, cause this is like an old inn. This was at Bird in Hand Inn, which is this little old inn in I think it's in Lancaster. In Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. And it's this little old inn, and it has like a restaurant, and it has this little stage in the basement. And I think you can, what you can do is, you'd probably know better than me, is like there are companies that essentially rent out productions of, and but I don't think they rent out the production, but they send out the actors, and you have to set up the stage and stuff, and they sponsor certain plays to be promoted, and you know they can give out actors for the same play in different areas. And so this was a production of The Home Game, and it was a musical, so there was singing, and there was also and I'd say it was, I'll say this, I was surprised, because based off of hearing 20 minutes of the financial pitch, based off of having to be introduced to all these old farts, based off of that food that I was not a huge fan of. They didn't have a dressing that wasn't any lighter than like something that was essentially ranch thickness. It was just like I was like, this is actually pretty good, and it was funny. It was pretty funny. It was family friendly, of course. I mean, I was in Amish country, and it was funny too, because it was very like almost promoting the Amish lifestyle. Like, it was like, don't forget your Amish roots. It's like that, like it's very easy to get sucked up into temptation. And this was all, once again, this was not a clear, like, sort of religious thrown on you, but this was all a very, this was all very, it was all around. Like, you could feel Jesus was there. This was all just very, my family's father's business, for example, the company that, the wealth management company, on their fucking bag, which I love those that they're saying this as I promote their fucking company, I must be about my father's business. Luke chapter 2, verse 49. So this is all supported by Jesus, by the way.
That's fair. But the music was pretty good. Were there any live bands, or was it only the community theater?
No. But that's another thing I noticed. There was no live band. It was all production, and it was like a background music. But the production, even the light and sound, I was like, this sound is well blended. The sound was like even while I was watching the actors, which were pretty good. Like they were pretty good, and I really enjoyed it. Like, I was into it. I was noticing, I was like, this production is on point. Like, this music is blended. Like, there's never like a cut where it's like cut from this song to the next and just sitting here in a weird second of silence or something like that.
That's not easy to do.
And so it was actually pretty entertaining. And I'll tell you what, I had a good time getting to know these other ladies.
Nice.
They were pretty cool.
See what happens when you go out there, Jared. Put yourself on a limb a little bit, and
the one that was in her 50s. She was a black woman, and she was not like my piano teacher. Like, I was kind of expecting them all to be older ladies like my piano teacher, but she was she said hell and damn sometimes, and she was like had jokes and shit, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, this is crazy. I was like not expecting this, and so she was fun to talk to. And she even asked for a business card because she apparently does work that's similar to ours, and I was like, I don't have one on me. I was like, I'm such not a professional. I was like, I have.
You got those untranslatable podcast business cards on you at all times, though, right?
Of course. I was like, no, but listen to our podcast, and you'll never want to talk to me again. And then the other one, who was 35, she's very religious, which doesn't bother me. But it does make it hard. It is hard sometimes for me to naturally make friends with very religious people because, I like to say things like fuck. But it's very easy for me not to say fuck in obviously situations like this. Anyway,
sure.
She was cool because she also she's young, 35, younger than I'm talking about in comparison to 50, being the second by far youngest person in there, also being a friend of my piano teacher. So anyway, she's young, and she was telling me about secret concerts she goes to in Philly. That vary from anywhere from classical to jazz to and they put on secret shows at people's apartments in Philly, and
nice.
My piano teacher's gonna hook me up with their number, and she's gonna tell me about when some of those are going on. And apparently what she does, she's an artist. She does visual art, so she paints and builds things with her hands. And she brings stuff there sometimes and sells them too, and other people do that kind of stuff. And I was like, that sounds awesome. And she's like, yeah, I'll hook you up. I'll let you know when the next one happens. She's actually going to one to like today, but she didn't invite me. But it was kind of last minute, and I couldn't go anyway. But yeah, no. So I thought that was cool. And so it started off weird. It continued to be weird kind of all day, but it was a good day, and I enjoyed the play. And it was interesting also looking up some of the people on Instagram after. Oh, one thing I had to mention, because one, this is the Untranslatable podcast, and two, though that's just the only reason, and because I love you, is that, so Pennsylvania Dutch, heavy Amish influence, Pennsylvania Dutch. During this play, there were two words that stuck out to me heavily. And that was when they said, they did not say yes ever. What do you think they said?
Yeah.
Yes. And they never said good. What do you think they said? Yeah.
Gut.
But everything else was English. Those were the
Interesting.
So they said, yes, I had a really good time celebrating with you last night. It's like, don't you agree? Yeah, I agree. But I think, and it's like, oh, yes, we all had a good time together.
Interesting. You know,
there was
funny.
one time one of the guys slipped up and said good, though. And I was like, and because it was at the very end, and I was almost like, oh, why did he say good?
Right? Yeah, you've been conditioned now to think of gut. Yeah, that's interesting.
So, yeah, that's what I found that very interesting. I was like, I wonder if there are other I didn't look it up. I could have. I didn't. But
there are a ton of other Pennsylvania Dutch terms, for sure. You know what's funny, though? Speaking of the word yes. So I was in my Czech lesson last week, and our topic was actually food, ironically. We weren't talking about fast food, but we were talking about food. And the Czech command to eat is yes. J-E-Z. Yes.
Okay.
So if I tell you yes, that means like eat your food.
That could be dangerous for some people.
Right.
Some polyglots with a eating problem.
Well, because my colleague who I'm doing these tandem lessons with, she said yes like a few times, and I'm like yes what?
Oh yeah.
And she's like yes, and I'm like what? And I'm like what? And she's like
yes,
eat. And I was like that's really funny. Talk about some serious language interference there, you know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, nice. Well, that's cool, man. I'm glad you had a good time.
I'll say this though.
Too
long. First of all, piano teacher, it's uncomfortable. It was interesting. Like that was the first time I really got to realize riding in a car with my piano teacher was the first time I got to realize her age. First of all, and the day just lasted too goddamn long. I woke up at 7:15. When I woke up, I honestly. There was a hot second I woke up and I was like, why am I waking up this early? I was like, do I have to go to work right now? I was like, is it like a day of the week? And I was like, oh shit. I was like, oh no, I got to go to that that thing. Because I was like, there's no ever an excuse for me to be waking up at 7 a.m. on a Saturday.
That's fair.
I stay in bed as long as possible if I don't have to get up for any particular reason. And so that kind of threw me off. And I didn't get home until like 6 o'clock.
Oh, that is a long day.
And I was just like, Jesus Christ. I was like, I didn't realize I'd be here all day long. And I even lied at the end of the day because after the only reason I didn't go to and the only reason I'm saying this so confidently is because I saw how my piano teacher handled her phone. So I'll know she'll never hear this. I was considering going to that concert at the guy's house after, but one, I wasn't that thrilled about the lineup. It seemed like a lot of singing and like Sondheim, which I've heard that before from them, and I'm like I've already heard you do that, and Sondheim is fine. Like I don't have a problem with it, but I don't need to rehear.
What is that?
Sondheim is I think he's like a musical theater kind of guy. Sondheim, I believe it's Sondheim. See, now I need to first Google if it's Sondheim. And of course, as I do it, my Google's running slow on my computer. And then after I need to do that, if I'm wrong, which I obviously most likely could be, what I need to do is figure out who it actually is, which will require me actually digging into.
Well, so basically, it's just like vocal, like kind of.
Oh no, it is
like
Sondheim.
Musical theater.
Stephen
stuff,
Sondheim. He's an American musical composer and Academy Award winner and Grammy winner.
Oh, wow.
He's a very popular composer and lyricist, and he also won a Pulitzer, a Laurence Olivier Award, Medal of Freedom, a Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Oh, wow.
In 2015. So I believe he. It seems like he's a. Sondheim has written film music, contributing "Goodbye for Now" for Warren Beatty's 1981's Reds. He wrote 5 songs in 1990's Dick Tracy, including "Sooner or Later," "I Always Get My Man" by Madonna, which won the. So he's just a very popular writer, and
Okay.
and he's written for plays and movies and other singers and.
Gotcha.
And I think he also does his own stuff too. So he's just a prolific artist. As I didn't realize how big he was until I just read that. And as I was reading that, the American in me is like, this dude is rich as ho-ha. Like, I was like, whoa. I was like, I didn't realize, like, just reading, he's 88 now. There's this cool ass picture of him, like, when he's 30, smoking a cigar. I'm gonna do this only because I'm curious. Steven Sondheim net worth. Let's see.
Let's see.
20 million. He's doing okay.
He's all right.
And that's only in America. Who knows what he's got going on in Switzerland and the Cayman Islands, if you know what
true.
I mean.
That's
Anyway,
true.
so but I've seen them do musical theater stuff. Like it's it's gonna be a piano and then singer, and I was like, I've seen her do the Sondheim, and I was like, I'm okay missing that. And I've spent all day with my goddamn piano teacher, and I don't even like spending that much time with my close friends and family, let alone.
I feel like Brad's the only one you can spend that much time with.
I mean, that's even pushing it. All day is
Really?
even pushing it.
Okay.
I've done it before, and I could do it on like a vacation, but I do need some time just like to decompose. But I think it
feel you.
also helps
I feel
sometimes,
you.
like for example, when we were in North Carolina, we were together a lot, and car rides too. There is a lot of time where even though you're together a lot, you don't have to just consistently be talking for,
That's fair.
hours on end. Even though it is also nice to have conversation. Car conversation's great too. But yeah, so I'll go to some of them though, and I'll definitely report back and give my reviews of some of those Red Velvet Hall concerts, as they call them, and hopefully I'll go to some of these secret Philly concerts too, which sound like a similar thing but way cooler. Because the Red Velvet Hall ones that I usually go to all involve a clientele very similar to that of my father's business wealth management firm.
Okay, fair enough.
Whew. I feel like
That's
take a
awesome
breather.
though. That's awesome though, dude. I mean, we both had a lot of good music this weekend.
Yes.
I also so I guess let's move on to the shout outs, because my first one is kind of a shout out as it is. When this episode drops, it'll be a little bit later, but this weekend we actually celebrated the 100-year anniversary of the founding of Czechoslovakia.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that's why I went to Prague. Actually, I didn't just go.
Is there like a celebration name?
Yeah,
for
there
the
was.
celebration?
They had concerts all day, all
What's
over
it
Prague.
called in Czech?
Well, it was. I think
The
it's just
Anniversary.
Stolet. 100 years. That's
Okay.
like all the signs had like a flag, and it said, and it didn't even say Stolet, it just said 100 and then let.
But do they celebrate it every year regardless, kind of like a 4th of July?
I don't think so.
Or is it just 100 that's a big deal?
I think this was the 100. I'm sure
Okay.
the 75 was a big deal.
Right.
Maybe even the 80. But what was cool is I went
big
to
milestones.
Right, exactly. And they celebrated the 90, I'm sure. But anyways, we went to the Natural History Museum, or the National Museum. And what they did is they had music, and they had like a light show that was it was all just like bouncing right off the facade of the building. So that was really cool.
A lot of light shows going on. Always a light show.
They like their light shows here in Prague, I feel like.
Okay.
And we my buddy David and I also got some
How was
mulled
this one in
wine.
comparison to the last one? Light show comparison.
It was just different. This one, it was a lot shorter. It was cool, but a lot of it was Czech speeches from famous or prominent Czech or even Czechoslovak politicians and other people. And I didn't understand a word they were saying because my Czech's not nearly good enough yet. Mluvite
anglicky?
anglicky? Yeah, and sadly they were not speaking any English. So, but yeah, it was a good time though, and we saw I forget the guy's name now, but we watched actually a Slovak kind of rapper. He was ending the night on Saturday night, so we watched that, and we had a
How
glass
was it?
of mulled wine. It was good.
What's the mulled wine? Is that like a?
It's Glühwein.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if that
It's
was
just
more.
warm. For our listeners out there who don't know, it's just spiced wine that's been heated up, and it usually has cinnamon and orange slices in it. And it hit the spot because it was cold. It was cold and a little bit rainy.
Right.
But yeah, so we saw some good music. So that's my first shout out. Is shout out to the Czech Republic and also to Slovakia for celebrating their 100-year anniversary. Do you have any shout outs, Jared?
Well, you know me. No, I don't.
All right. Well, that's fine. I got a couple more.
Okay. Okay.
So the next one
I
I'd
thought I
like
did,
to
though,
give.
but I don't.
What?
I said actually I thought I did, but I don't.
No worries. So this other shout out I have to give is to Spain. So
That's interesting.
apparently in Spain, most of their coal mines are closing by the end of this year. So Spain is spending millions to preserve the miners' livelihood. So the Spanish government has worked with labor unions to execute a transition deal that will help coal miners with the shift towards clean energy. So they will be closing down the majority of their coal mines by the end of this year. The
Are they,
government
like training,
will be investing.
spending money to. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't know you're
good.
I thought that was the end.
You're good. The government will be investing $285 million US dollars to ensure that coal miners can maintain their livelihood. The investment will help to provide early retirement for miners over the age of 48 and will help implement restorative environmental measures in coal communities and retrain coal miners to begin working with safer, more modern green technologies.
Nice.
So shout out to you, Spain. That's awesome. America, you need to take a lesson from that.
America has
yes.
always been reactionary. That's how we roll. It's like
That's
you
true.
we do what's working, and then fix it once it breaks. It's like run it on red line, and then fix it when it breaks. Like a race car. That's how America likes to run, like a race car. We like to go fast and full throttle, pedal to the metal, baby. Man,
know
I
what
wish
they
I had
say.
like a Harley revving sound drop.
Right. Right. You know what they say, though, or at least what Ricky Bobby says, if you ain't first, you're last.
I kind of agree with that a little bit. I hate to say it, but I do kind of
Yeah.
agree with that.
Fair enough. All right. Well, my
Granted, we're fairly last.
my last shout out goes out to a Jimmy John's delivery driver. So this is the story. So a woman named Lisa Nagengast was trying to find someone who could take
Sorry,
her
Lisa.
sick brother
Oh, that's funny.
to the hospital. But the interesting thing is she had no idea a rescuer would be a stranger at the other end of a wrong number. So she had dialed a wrong number to basically get her brother to be picked up. So she was actually flying to go visit another family member. And here the article says, after the plane landed, she heard an alarming voicemail from her brother who said he was in extreme pain. The incision site of the surgery was leaking fluids, and he had no feeling in his left leg. He needed to go to the hospital, but there were no ride-sharing services in his town. He wasn't sure if his insurance would cover an ambulance ride. He didn't have money for a cab, and there was no one around to offer him a ride. He gave his sister the contact information for Pam, his social worker, and she hurriedly dialed the phone number. A young woman answered, and I assumed it was a social worker. I told her who I was, why I was calling, gave her the whole story, asked what can we do to get him to the hospital. The woman passed the phone to her manager, a young man named Jason Voss, and she reiterated the dilemma, asked for help. The man said that he had drivers on hand and he would try to find someone who was free to help. 15 minutes later, she got a call from someone named Zach Hilmer, who gave her brother a ride to the hospital. All he needed was a phone number and an address. And then
it's so funny to me how this is like the saving story you're telling me, but this still feels like it's all happening too slowly. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh, for sure. But yeah, so anyways, shout out to Zach Hilmer and also the manager. Let me see if I can find his name again. Mr. Voss, I believe it is, for helping this woman out and her brother in the time of need. I think that's really great. It's too bad that our healthcare system is so messed up in the States that he couldn't have just gotten an ambulance ride.
Well, yeah.
But that's another
Ambulance rides
conversation.
are expensive.
Yes, they are. But that's another talk for another episode. But shout out to all of you people out there willing to give a helping hand.
Yes.
Wherever and whenever you can. Yes. Anyways, Jared, I think it's time for you to give us your new beer review.
Yeah, I
it's
think it's
going
time
to be
for
a Tonewood beer, right?
It is a Tonewood beer. I think it's time for my new favorite segment of the pod, and that's the untranslatable beer review. I tried something new, by the way, to keep it cold. What I did was I they always recommend things like this on Facebook and stuff, and I didn't actually research it. I just guessed. Mm-hmm. But what I do is I put ice in a bowl, and then I put salt in there, and I think I remember them saying that it's nice and cold. Anyway, once again, I'm back for round 2 of the Tonewood series. I'm gonna get freaking Nolan fired. And this beer is this time I decided to go with a 16 fluid ounce can, which is a little bit bigger because it's Sunday. I can let loose a little bit.
There you go. I like it.
And it is a untranslatable German lager. Actually, it's not untranslatable. No, but it is the Tonewood Dreadnought. 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 And it is a Dunkel, which is German for dark, German lager. And it's 4.8% by volume. And on the can is, once again, I love the
Can you show it to me?
Oh, yeah, of course. I wanted to actually surprise you with it. You see that?
Oh, I love that.
Why do you love it?
You know why? Well, there's a guitar in the can, but you know why there's a guitar in the can, right?
I was about to bring that up, but please enlighten me.
Well,
I was about to ask you.
Do you know? So you don't know.
In my notes, it says, ask Chad about Tonewood's connection to instruments.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Well, great. I will gladly tell you. So a Dreadnought.
And as you do that, I'm going to crack it open.
Go for it. Crack that bad boy open.
And take a selfie of myself.
There you go. Yeah, so Dreadnought is a shape of an acoustic guitar. It's a specific body size. They're usually one of the bigger ones. They're used a lot of times for bluegrass music, country music. They're just great guitars for like strumming. They're nice, give a nice like kind of bassy sound. Kind of full-bodied. Would you say your brew is a full-bodied brew, Jared?
Let me take one more sip of it as you talk. I like where your head's at.
That is what a Dreadnought is, and there's a picture that thankfully they did their research at Tonewood. So shout out to those guys,
so hard.
Because there was a Dreadnought-shaped guitar on there. You would have definitely rubbed me the wrong way if you would have showed me a picture of your beer as a Dreadnought, and it was like a parlor-sized guitar or a jumbo-sized guitar or just something different.
Is it Dreadnought? By the way, I've been taking selfies this whole time. They've all been fucking terrible.
Nice.
So a Dreadnought is a specific kind of guitar?
Specific body shape of an acoustic guitar, yes.
Because it's apparently Tonewood is a very popular a very popular wood for a lot of instruments. Like this is obviously guitar-focused. Mm-hmm. But from what I've seen, that's not the only one that they use Dreadnought for. Tonewood for. Like they use it for a lot of wood-based instruments.
Oh yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I mean that would make sense. You gotta go with your niche and
I quit, makes sense. You see, I quit trying to actually do it and just did it that way.
There you go. But yeah, that's pretty cool though. So what are your thoughts on the Tonewood Dreadnought?
The Tonewood Dreadnought is good. I'll say this. Once again, it has a very smooth quality to it, almost like a Tonewood Dreadnought. Beautiful instrument. Let me take another sip.
I used to have a couple Dreadnought guitars back in the day, and they do always sound pretty rich, pretty full.
You can tell it's interesting, that combination of dark beer yet light, because as I said, it's only 4.8%.
Mm-hmm.
So it is light, but it seems like it's very good to eat with drink with like a hearty meal. where it gives you
Okay.
that hearty beer, but it doesn't fill. It won't fill you like say a porter, for example, which is tends
Right.
to be heavier in nature. And so I'd say it's got a little bit of a bite to it. Like it's not that it's sour, because sour is not the right word. I think when you're talking about beer, but it is it has a slight bitterness to it that I
Okay.
like.
Nice.
It lingers a little bit. I like that. And it almost, even though it's dark, it still kind of does taste like it. It has that very much pilsnery lager kind of. Are those similar things, pilsner and lagers? Because
I
it
would say
almost
kind
has
of.
like a almost lightness like a pilsner is what I mean to say.
I see.
Even if they're not similar, that's the
Right.
taste I get is almost a lightness like that
That makes sense.
in a dark beer. I like
know-
it though. I'm
you know
usually
what's
not like a.
interesting? You're not
I'm
a
usually
dark beer
one
guy,
more thing.
right?
I'm usually not like a German Dunkel kind of beer, dark beer kind of guy. Like I usually rather go for the wheat option over
me too.
over the Dunkel option like this one. Even though I do like it.
Nice. Interesting cultural thing about. So you asked me if it's a pilsner or a lager, right?
Yes.
So what's interesting is, so in the United States we use the term pilsner to describe a type of beer, right? But here in the Czech Republic, my experience has been, if you use the word pilsner, they think of it as an actual pilsner Urquell beer. Even though most beers are, I would say, brewed in a very similar fashion, right? It's still kind of this, I would call it maybe like a lager. I mean, you could definitely call it a Czech lager, but a lot of them are brewed kind of similar, or to my taste buds at least, they taste very similar to what a Pilsner Urquell does.
But they
Or
have
how that
reason
tastes.
also to be a little bit more specific with it.
Right. Well, I mean, you have to, right? But it's interesting because in the United States, we just refer to, I would say we would probably refer to most Czech beers as like a Pilsner style beer.
Yes.
Whereas like if you say Pilsner to any Czech person, they usually only think of like the actual Pilsner Urquell, which makes sense. But
Right.
it's caused me a few problems because I've asked for a Pilsner style beer and they're like,
And
"Oh
they
yeah,
just
we don't
give
have
you-
Pilsner here."
Right.
And then I'll order whatever beer they have on tap, and it's a Pilsner
Obviously
style
a Pilsner, right.
right. Right. So, but it's important to just be aware of those things when you travel to the Czech Republic, so you don't cause any confusion with your waitress, or bartender.
Oh yeah, yeah, I agree with that. And once again, shout out to Tonewood. I like this beer. This is good. I'm gonna sip on this for the rest of the episode. Obviously, I'm just gonna throw it away. Even if I
Nice.
hate it, I'd still be like, well, I'll finish it and then we'll see what I'll do with the other ones.
Right, for sure. I think we might even need to make a beer review a more regular thing on the pod, even after you finish all these Tonewoods.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that.
I feel like we
You're
probably,
just talking about all those Pilsner styles. You're in the home of Pilsners, speaking of which.
You know what's crazy? I was talking to Annabelle while she was visiting, and she was telling me that her significant other has this like app where he can track all the beers he has tried, right? And she said he's probably tried over 300 different types of beer. I was thinking about it. I would probably guess, I don't want to sound like an alcoholic, but I would probably guess my number's around there too. Where do you think your number might be?
You calling Annabelle's significant other an alcoholic?
Well, if I am, then I'm calling myself an alcoholic as well, because I think our beer number is pretty close.
I have no idea. I mean, I don't even know how to quantify that. I'm trying to think. 300 seems like a lot. I feel like I couldn't.
Yeah,
say
but you're 26. You've been able to legally drink beer in the United States for 5 years.
I've drank a lot of the beer. I've drank a lot of beer, but I've also drank a lot of the same stuff. For example, if I'm like, I have a lot of similar go-tos at bars around me, where it's like I might switch it up and have variety, but I do tend to have a lot of go-tos. So I that sounds like a lot to me, to be honest with you. I'd probably say 100, especially if I'm comparing it to someone who is clearly a connoisseur, because I don't even care enough to have the app on my phone.
Okay.
So if we're comparing it to a connoisseur like that, I'd probably say 100, 150 if I'm feeling, generous.
Okay. See, I was thinking, for me at least, I've been to a couple, like there was a really cool beer
And he probably
festival.
travels a lot too, by the way.
He does, yeah.
If he's dating her.
Well, yeah, but anyways, I've been to a couple beer festivals as well. Like there was one in Ypsilanti, Michigan I went to a couple summers ago with my buddy Jake. And I think we tried about 25 or 30 different types of beers. They were all in small, tiny little cups, but like 3 milliliters. But still, I mean, if you count that as like having tried a beer, that's 25 in one day right there.
Yeah.
Have you ever gone to anything like that?
Yeah.
Because if you have, I'm willing to bet your number's probably closer to 150, 200.
Yeah, but not often. You know, maybe a couple times in my life.
You go to them 2 times in your life, that could be 40 beers right there.
40? I don't know about 40.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways,
You
I
had
was
nothing to
just
say to that. You had no response to that.
well, I guess I just drink more. I try more beers maybe at these festivals than you do. But you know, it is what it is.
No,
anyways.
you make a good point. I see where you're coming from now.
Yeah.
And for example, I just went to, like when I was in North Carolina, I went to Wicked Weed, which was a brewery. So that was everything I had there. I had for the first time. I went to New Belgium, and I had New Belgium stuff I've never had before. I went to I went to another brewery too, somewhere else that I can't
So see
think of.
right there, that could be what 5
Yeah,
to 10
no,
new
you're
beers
right.
you tried.
I'm
So
starting
it
to do some
adds
math.
up. Yeah,
Yeah.
it adds up. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting though, like because I was thinking about when I've been in Germany, I've tried all sorts of different beers. When we were living in Austria, I tried a bunch.
Right. No, you're right. I guess I don't even also think about just all those times that I've had a one-off beer somewhere that I've never had before.
Exactly. It adds up pretty quick, I think. But anyways, we are not the beer-latable podcast. We are the untranslatable podcast, and I think it might just have to be that time, Jared. I don't know. Can you check your clock?
Let me check my Rolex. Let me check my Rolex. Let me tap on it real quick. Oh, there we go. Run a little slow for a hot sec. Do you want me to start us off?
Sure, go for it.
We are not the Untransbearable podcast, but I would recommend drinking beer before you eat sugar. I'd say as far as health goes, you're better off with beer than you are with sugar. So, as the Danes would say, don't be an Zuckergris, which is
means
literally a sugar pig.
don't be a sugar pig.
Yeah.
Is that just when you're just eating too much sugar?
Yeah, it's just having a sweet tooth.
Okay. Nice.
And what I thought is that I believe that it's harmless. I believe that's a harmless way of saying, like, I have a sweet tooth. But if you were to translate that literally, a sugar pig, and I just imagine calling that to someone in America. It's like, wow, you are a sugar pig. That is then turns into essentially just a straight up insult.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, probably
Pig
not what
is
you
never a
want to
nice
say.
thing to call someone.
Right, that's true. All right,
But
Jared,
it does sound nice in Danish. Zuckergris.
that is pretty cool.
I mean, the way I say it, I guess I don't know.
I like it. Sounds like it rolls off the tongue.
Right.
All right, Jared, I got a German one for you. You might know this one, but our listeners probably don't. This is seinen Senf dazugeben, or to give one's mustard.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. To make fun of someone, to give someone shit?
No. So
I don't know.
For example, Jared, if we were having a conversation, I could say, I don't know, ich gebe meinen Senf dazu, and I'll tell you do this instead. That was a bad example. Basically, let me just. Well, do you have any other guesses before I?
No, that did not help me at all.
Yeah, that was a horrible example. My bad. Basically, this means to add your 2 cents.
Oh, okay.
To give your mustard.
Example makes sense, but
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
not enough context.
Right.
I see what you're saying. Okay. Just add in my little mustard. I like that. Now that I
it's a
actually
good
get
one.
it. Yeah. I get that. Actually, I think that's better than 2. No, 2 cents is good too, but it's like you're providing the meal, but I just want to add in my little thing
add in your mustard.
at the top.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Mine is Spanish, specifically from Colombia.
Mm-hmm.
Están mamando gallo.
Which means?
Gallo is gallo.
Mm-hmm. Gallo.
Ooh. Give a blowjob to a rooster?
Wait, what?
Give a blowjob to a rooster, I believe.
Okay. Can you give me an example of this?
Here at the Untranslatable podcast, we like to talk about travel, culture, language, but mostly what we like to do is give blowjobs to roosters.
Is that like to joke around? Interesting.
By the way,
how that
that's
came
going to be a
about.
promo right there. That's going to be a promo right there.
That's pretty good.
There's no way I cannot cut that as a clip. That's amazing.
Right. That is pretty good, for sure. Well, Jared, I have a Spanish one for you as well.
Okay.
And it is, para comer pescado hay que mojarse el culo. Which means, to eat fish, you have to get your ass wet. Or get your butt wet.
Someone told me that last night, and it then got weird.
I mean, you could use it like that.
Wait, can you give me the English translation again?
To eat fish, you need to get your culo wet.
Oh, okay. To like if you really want to, like to succeed, you need to get your hands dirty sometimes. It requires
Hit that ham horn, my man.
Nice. This is an untranslatable fest that I'm enjoying so much right now. I have one more, and it's also Spanish, but I don't have a specific country on that. And it's ser un cero a la izquierda.
Izquierda on the left?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Wow. Look at you. Oh.
Okay. What was the rest of it, though? Parada.
Good job there, Chad. Ser un cero la izquierda. I like that word. That's a fun word.
Izquierda is a good word.
Izquierda.
Ser it's only
un cero or quero. Is it quero? Cero. Quero. It might be quero.
I think it would be cero.
Okay.
I think I could be wrong though.
Do you want me to put it into the almighty Google Translator?
Go for it. Yeah. Oh yeah.
My internet's been acting up. Let's see if it cooperates.
I think it would be
with me
cero.
Right now.
Well,
it's always funny
cero?
how I could say my internet's been acting up as I have full conversations with you.
Right. I'm not sure what the CE rule is in Spanish because CO would be like como. That's like more like a K sound. Would it be quero? I don't know.
Hold on. Once again, there's going to be a...
No worries. You're good.
It'll be a little crackly for the listeners. I need to turn on my computer. Once again, I need to turn on my computer. I'm never prepared to do this. But this is also like when someone throws like a flag on the play, sort of.
Right, that's true.
All right, shut up. All right.
Ser un cero a la izquierda.
Cero al izquierda.
I need to turn it up a little bit. I didn't hear it that well.
One more time.
Ser un cero a la izquierda.
Oh yeah, cero.
Okay. Yep.
Ser un cero a la izquierda.
Which means what? Something and a zero on the left?
To be a zero to the left.
To be a zero to the left. Can you give me an example?
So the Untranslatable podcast is on episode 38, and we keep hitting up the rock, and he keeps ducking us. And he's like, I don't have time for those zeros to the left.
So just like losers?
Not really losers. He's like, I am a mover and a shaker in the community, and I need to operate with other movers and shakers. Mm-hmm. And then what Chad will do is screenshot that and show me, and be like, we'll show him. Oh yeah. Fuck you. We'll show you. We'll get bigger than you and never promote you. Anyway. So, do you have any guesses of what that means?
Nope.
To be a zero.
Give it to me.
To not have any influence.
To not have any influence. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
To be a zero to the left.
That makes
sense. And as a left-handed person, you're left-handed too, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
I sort of resent that.
I do too.
Be a zero to the right.
That's right. Cero and cero a derecha. Derecho, I think.
C.
Be a 0 on the right. Anyways, I have one last one for you, and it's Czech. I had to give you a Czech one, right? And it is jak k jídlo, tak k dílu, which literally means as with food, so to work.
You have to work for everything in life?
Not quite. Not quite.
Sorry, I'm doing a transfer, so if you heard
You're
another
good.
squeaky, that's what that was.
You're good.
I was about to hit a drop into the abyss, into the open air. I don't know. I'm not sure.
And this one's kind of hard to explain. Like, well, let me put it this way. So Jared, you got a long day. You got a long day of work maybe coming up tomorrow. And then I would just tell you, you know, before your hard day of work, I would say, as with food, so to work.
Oh, so so what they're getting at is saying attack your workday with the same vigor that you attack your food, which I assume means like your rest or playtime or enjoyments.
Kind of. I would say here
So
it says,
work hard, play hard.
Kind of. I would say here it's more if you are a hearty eater, you should also work hard and vice versa.
Okay.
You gotta you gotta eat enough jídlo, which is Czech for food, to get all that work done. You know.
All right. I like that. I had something I was about to ask, and it literally just flew out of my mind. I don't remember what it is.
Doesn't matter. Let's move on and talk about our main segment, which is fast food around the world.
Yeah. So, for those of you that don't know, well, for those of you that do know, there are some. America is, if we're known for, if we've put anything out to the world, it's fast food chains.
That's true.
And we are known for having some of the. I mean, not the greatest. I mean, how do you even? The greatest seems kind of like a. What's the proper word? Not oxymoron, or like a.
I'd say
What's the word
oxymoron.
where it's like you use that word, but it's also like the complete opposite of what it is? You know what I mean?
Oxymoron.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the greatest fast food in the world, whether it be Taco Bell, McDonald's, Burger King. I hate Burger King, but they're big.
KFC's huge here in the Czech Republic.
KFC is huge. KFC is also huge in China and Asia.
Interesting. Okay.
They love KFC over there, from what I've heard. And so one of the things that these companies tend to promote and be proud of is that no matter where you are in the world, our food tastes the same. You're going to get the same thing. A fry from McDonald's tastes the exact same here in Philadelphia as it would taste in Kumutov, Czech Republic. Theoretically.
Do you agree with that?
Yes and no. I'd say I've tasted, if we're being serious, I've tasted subtle differences.
Okay.
However, no company could ever do it better as far as replicating the same thing globally, I think. But I think you can tell the difference slightly. And I think there is some, and you just said a second ago that you noticed slight differences, don't you?
Yeah.
With the chicken, where it's like, this tastes like it's slightly less murderous for me. Like there's actually some real chicken in these things somewhere.
I think we're probably going to get a lot of flack from our listeners in the States, but I would say the fries.
Okay. Our McDonald's sponsorship money is rolling in.
That's true.
And they can talk all the shit they want because we're riding dirty.
That's true.
Riding dirty.
I would say fries here taste a little bit better than they do in the States. They don't seem to be as greasy.
From fast food places?
From McDonald's, yeah. And from a lot of restaurants in general. I would say fries
that's
here
why
taste better.
I was asking, because it's like, obviously I think, like we're talking, I think we've mentioned this before, but I think some of the best French fries in the world come from the Dutch and Belgian people.
That's true.
Which
Because
have similar styles.
I think they use a different type of oil to fry their fries in.
Where it's like they're thick, big, hearty fries, but they also have that consistent and perfect crunch on them.
Yeah, I can't do soggy fries. Soggy fries are the worst.
And I think that it's fair to say that the Dutch in Belgium, which have I think it's the same fry, have
Right.
won the fry game.
Oh yeah, I would agree.
So
What-
late shout out to Netherlands and Belgium for the fries. There we go.
So I got a question for you, Jared. Do you have a
Yeah.
favorite? Do you have a favorite like fast food chain if you're traveling that you would go to?
If I'm traveling,
Mm-hmm.
because I have an answer for that, but my two places on my list are local places that I don't think either of them you can get out of the country. So can I start with that real quick? And then as I'm
Absolutely.
saying that, I'm sure I'll think of a global one. Chick-fil-A
Delicious.
and Wawa has recently grown on me. I've lived here for over 3 years, but Wawa has only recently been something that I've started to implement in my life for the past couple of months, and I love
just
it.
a burger joint? What is it?
No, Wawa is mostly sandwiches, but they slightly venture out to other things. Like they have paninis or wraps and stuff like that.
Oh,
But then they also
nice.
have like, I think they also have like, which is relatively new, but I think they also have like mac and cheese or chicken strips. But I never bother with those. I think
Right.
what they're really known for is their sandwiches and their and they have like cookies and shit. And it's like a convenience store, but kind of a nicer 7-Eleven essentially.
Oh, nice.
And you order on these little computers, and they make your stuff, and then pull out a little, receipt or whatever, and you get your number. And so, yeah, those are the two places that I tend to frequent. Chick-fil-A, there's a little bit of guilt there. I mean, they're not a great company socially, but
Right.
I like the French fries. I like the waffle fries. But
And that Chick-fil-A sauce is delicious.
yeah, I'm a barbecue guy, but I do like the Chick-fil-A sauce. Sometimes they accidentally give it to me because do I mumble? I don't know. I'm on one of the greatest travel podcasts in the world. So ask our millions of adoring fans if I mumble. That's what I yell into the into the
I sure hope
drive-through
so.
box.
Right. Am I
But
mumbling to you?
globally, I don't know if I have any global places anymore though, because I'm done with Subway. I'm done with them.
Why?
Because they've turned into full garbage. I mean, they might be I believe they're one of the biggest global companies, bigger than McDonald's global companies.
Really? I didn't know that.
I believe so. But like, there's just garbage to me. Like, especially once again, since it's like places that are just the same price, if not cheaper, like Wawa, just like it tastes so much better and tastes like, and it's just, I can't do Subway anymore, which is it's always a go-to global place. I struggle with McDonald's. I don't know. I really try my hardest, and the reason I don't have an answer to this, I don't like not having an answer to this. I prefer to have an answer. But my honest answer is, if I'm ever out of America, honestly, if I'm in America too, let's be fair, I try my hardest not to go to fast food places, especially American ones that I could get walking down the street around my own home in America.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's really hard for me to say that I have a favorite go-to outside of the country because if I do a trip right, I don't even look at a fast food restaurant outside of the country, outside of America. And if I do it right in America, I don't ever look at one again. But I'm a human too, okay, guys? And I'm working on myself. I don't claim to be perfect.
I feel like too with fast food, I feel like there's kind of different tiers of fast food, right?
Yes.
Like you get your like McDonald's, your Burger King, your Taco Bell, your like really
Wendy's.
quick Wendy's. I do like Wendy's.
I would put Chick-fil-A in there.
Oh yeah, I would too. But then I think you have stuff that's like
Chick-fil-A
the
seems
next.
a little nicer though, because the chicken in Chick-fil-A seems like actual chicken.
That's true. I would say though there are other fast food places like Chipotle and Qdoba, where it's.
I don't go to Chipotle anymore.
Why is that?
I've had too many. Well, the last time I went to Chipotle, I feel like we've talked about this. The last time I went to Chipotle, I'd already had a lot of situations where I was like, this food's been sitting out too long, usually quickly after it's led to
I gotcha.
bathroom visits.
That's fair.
And
good
so
way to
I
put it.
went one time. This was about 2 years ago, probably at this point, maybe a little bit more than that. And I just got my car serviced, and I was maybe about 30, 40 minutes away from my home. And I was like, let me stop at Chipotle for old time's sake. I love it. Walk in there. I was waiting at the counter for, no exaggeration, maybe a minute to a minute and a half to 2 minutes waiting for someone to walk up. And in my head, as I was standing here, I was like, this is already a bad sign. I should not be waiting this long.
Right.
As I'm looking at the food, I won't just sit there.
Mm-hmm.
But I waited, and it went exactly how you would imagine it went. And then from there, I was just like, you know what? I can recreate what Chipotle and Qdoba does pretty easily, to be honest with you.
That's fair.
One thing I've learned, which is kind of depressing when I make it at home, though, is how much salt you have to put in it to get the rice to taste like that.
Oh,
and
that's
how much that is kind of depressing to notice as you're like, oh, you have to keep which I don't do, so it's maybe even better, but it doesn't taste just like it, but it tastes a depressing amount, it takes a depressing amount of salt, and it's just hard for me to do.
Right. See, for me, fast food in Europe, especially here in the Czech Republic and, in Germany and in Austria where I've spent more time.
Yes.
If I go to a fast food place, it's going to be like a kebab place.
Yes.
It's a different type of fast food, and I feel like it's a
which
little
most
bit
Americans
healthier.
don't even understand.
Right.
I believe it's healthier only because it's more like the ingredients are less muddled with. You would assume just based off of the production of it.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, a lot of the times too, in a lot of those places, you see like the actual meat, like you see them pulling out actual pieces of chicken or pieces of whatever it is, and like so maybe it's like maybe it's not like your best organic grass-fed meat, but at least you know that like if you're comparing it to say McDonald's chicken nugget, like he was like, at least I know that like this is chicken, even if it's highly muddled with chicken. It's like once you're getting to McDonald's level, it's like this is only chicken if in a courtroom at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like the only thing that makes this chicken is like the fact that we're legally allowed to call it chicken on a menu. It's like that is a level of chicken that this is, not the fact that it's actually something that's just large amounts of frozen meat, for example.
Right, exactly. So, like, for example, in Prague, when I've had, like, what I would consider fast food, disregarding McDonald's, usually, like, there's pizza places that sell it by the slice, and that usually it's pre-made. The slices are out under, like a heat lamp, keeps it warm.
Yep.
I'll get that, which is usually pretty good. Like I said, usually some type of kebab.
Those kebabs are very good.
Yes, they are. I had one for dinner tonight, actually. My homie was at the kebab place.
This is untranslatable intervention. How many kebabs do you have a week?
A week? Probably 3 or 4.
Don't lie to me. Don't lie.
3 or 4.
So 7.
3 or 4.
That always means double it.
I've tried to come up with a plan now because there's a couple other. There's also another like what I would also call fast food place where I get a wrap usually once a week, and that's
So you never cook. You never even attempt to cook.
I mean, if you consider putting a frozen pizza in the oven cooking, then
no.
I cook.
By the way, I didn't even mention this because I didn't realize how much I talk about this play, but I did make a banana bread on Friday as well.
Oh, nice.
And I'll put some pictures of that on Instagram. It was delicious.
Nice. Well, see, the other thing is I don't have a ton of cooking stuff here. I have 2 pans. I have 1 wooden spoon.
Yeah.
I have the bare bones. I could, if I was resourceful and a good cook, I could definitely make it work.
I was about to say, but yeah.
But I'm not.
I understand what you're saying. It's also hard. It's very easy to be discouraged as someone that isn't even really that encouraged.
Right, exactly.
When you're working with like bare bones, and it's like not only am I cooking, but I'm having to figure out how to do stuff in a way more difficult way than if I just had all the stuff that my mom has at her home.
And I'm not even gonna lie, I'm always paranoid I'm going to buy the wrong ingredient and then just like screw everything up.
I do it all the time. Bro, I left the grocery store the other day and forgot one of my bags. And I want to say forgot. I don't want to say forgot, but I'll say forgot. Really what I felt like it was the woman was having a full conversation with one of her coworkers while she was checking me out and bagging me. And she was so aggressive with my bags too, and I think she just wasn't even paying attention. But that's not the point. Yeah, listen, it's a very nice grocery store. It's my main grocery store. I'm still going to go there because I don't really have another option that's in such a convenient walking distance.
Right. That's fair. Well, Jared,
let's talk about some. Were you about to say something? I'm about to keep going anyway. Let's talk about some foods that we don't get in America. So we've talked about some of our favorite sort of fast food items.
Mm-hmm.
I, like you, am a huge fan of the chicken nugget, which I always, as a joke, I always say it's like the fast food item for the mama's boy. But one, I don't really consider myself a mama's boy, and two, I do love chicken nuggets. But I always joke and say that like it's like for the people that never really grew up. But
I feel like that's also chicken tenders. They go in that category as well.
yeah, I mean, it's just a different form of chicken nugget.
Just a long chicken nugget. That's true.
But there are other just as pure marketing wise, in order for these companies to fit in and thrive against some of the popular foods in other countries, they have to adapt their menus. And a lot of us Americans don't even think about that because it's stuff that we would never want to see on our good American good American menus. So I'll just go through some of them, for example. So, for example, in Egypt, in 2001, McDonald's introduced the McFalafel sandwich.
Nice.
In its Egypt locations. The restaurants also offer a chicken Big Mac because they don't, I believe, do Muslim people, they don't eat beef? Do they not eat ground beef?
Pork.
Yeah, they don't eat pork. But anyway, they don't eat pork, that's for sure. But they don't eat, well, they also offer, I don't know if they eat
I think
beef
they
or not.
can
I'm not
eat
sure.
ground beef. I think they can.
Okay. Well, regardless, the restaurant offers a chicken Big Mac and a fish Mac, variations on the standard Big Mac, which substitute breaded chicken or fish.
Speaking of Egypt and the Middle East, I got one I'd like to add as well.
Sure.
From McDonald's, they have what they call the McArabia, which is a pita sandwich with lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and garlic mayonnaise, which is served in Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and parts of Pakistan. The McArabia comes in two varieties, grilled chicken or also grilled kofta, which is ground beef or lamb wrapped in pita bread.
So China and Hong Kong has one specifically that is hard to even look at. It makes me like, it almost looks like something that like aliens eat. It's called the taro pie. And what it is it almost kind of looks like the size of see, now it's gonna get offensive right away. It's cooked like an apple pie, but it's smaller than cooked like a McDonald's apple pie. Let me clarify. We're not talking about an actual
Homemade
Dutch apple pie.
Right.
A good Dutch apple pie like my Amish grandma used to make. But it's smaller, and it's about the size of, say, a spring roll. I know. See, I was trying to avoid that, but it is the size of that.
That's fair.
And it has, like, what looks like the fillings of an apple pie in there, but it's like a light purple color. And it's hard to look at because it's almost like a color that you don't, like, it doesn't seem natural to food.
Oh, interesting.
So look up, do you see it? Taro pie, Taropie. And like I struggle to look at it because it's like this color seems unnatural to the human body, and
God.
yeah, you can make
no, that's a no for me.
And it's like you can make anything taste good, especially with sugar, but just that color doesn't seem like it's just that color in itself. Oh, you're looking at an actual pie though. Type in taro. Oh yeah. Oh
no, I'm looking at it from McDonald's. It looks nasty.
You're seeing it. And the non-promotional pictures are even worse.
Yep.
Like I had the benefit, or maybe the fake news version, because I was only looking at a promotional picture provided by McDonald's. But just if you look at pictures taken on someone's iPhone, it is even worse.
Yeah, it does not look appetizing. You know what's interesting is that I forget, there was a company that was doing market research on colors and foods. And blue and purple are both colors that most people do not like to see in their foods. Obviously, there are some exceptions, right? Like, obviously, if you're eating something that's naturally blue, like
like an eggplant, or for example, it's not like you're thrown off by the purple of an eggplant,
right? But if like you have something that's colored purple,
and it's a very rare color, purple and blue. Like, yes, there's eggplant or blueberries, but it's a very rare color to see in food.
Yeah, that looks
And
nasty.
like green is a very pleasing color to see on a plate. Purple or blue, not so much.
Red's usually all right. Green.
Yeah, because there's a lot of berries or tomatoes or
Right.
or
Exactly.
peppers that are red, and that's always pleasing.
Right.
But this purple, and there's even like this taro pie that looks like it's an actual pie. But there's purple filling on top, and even that is very displeasing to the eye.
I would agree.
I would like that to be stricken from the record of my brain forever.
That's fair. I got one coming from India for you, Jared.
Okay.
From McDonald's. This is called the spicy paneer wrap, and
Okay.
it is McDonald's. So McDonald's India caters with meatless options because most Hindus, I think pretty much all Hindus, are usually vegetarians. So what paneer is it's Paneer. They are a type of Indian cheese which is wrapped in a grilled tortilla and served with mustard, mayo, lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and various herbs and spices.
Have you heard of the, speaking of India, since we're on India, have you heard of the Maharaja Mac?
No, what is that?
It's the Big Mac's not too distant cousin. During an international expansion in the 1990s, McDonald's faced an Indian subcontinent whose population largely didn't eat beef,
Right.
which either abandoning the restaurant's most I think they kind of messed up the sentence. Which either abandoning the restaurant's most iconic item or adopting it to fit local needs, and the latter choice, as we now know, reigned supreme. Though it might look close enough to a Big Mac, the Maharaja Mac is comprised, of different ingredients. Made with chicken patty, much of the Maharaja Mac remains similar. So it's essentially just a Big Mac with chicken and then extra veggies apparently as well.
Okay.
So it also looks like there's red onion in there, which I don't think you get in a normal Big Mac.
Right.
And there's another vegetable that I can't recognize just off of this promo picture.
All right, Jared.
I
got a
laughed.
question for you.
By the way, I laughed earlier, and I laughed more at the genius that is McDonald's marketing department.
Right.
Because McDonald's has done like research to the level of like insurance companies, to where it's like I laugh at them, but they know exactly what the F they're doing.
Oh, for
and
sure.
I think I'd bet, I don't know, but I'd bet they're really probably the poster child for expanding and figuring out what different markets like. And it makes me even think of being in places like close to Detroit. I'm not going to say I grew up in Detroit because I didn't. I grew up in the suburbs around white people. But I grew up close to Detroit, and I also grew up, I spent a good part of my childhood in the South. And just seeing the differences in commercials between even just black neighborhoods like Detroit, or like for example, looking at the black TV channels, or like more quote unquote white neighborhoods, you could tell once again through the TV channels, and seeing how the commercials differ, and how like, oh, there's similar concept and they hit all the same points in it, but some of them have a more R&B or hip hop base to it, and they're more cooler, and it's a deeper voice guy that does the voiceover versus more lifestyle-based commercials or whatever. It is interesting to see the differences, and it's like, yeah, like you see this, like you see the level of differences they make, even on local levels, on like what we're gonna put on different channels, what we're gonna put up in different neighborhoods, versus like, yeah, they do the exact same thing in every country that they're in.
Definitely.
Which is just about every country.
Definitely. Speaking of McDonald's in different countries, Jared, I'm going to give you
Please.
a
Another
couple. I want to give you a couple different McDonald's ones, and I want to see if you can guess where they sell this.
I like that. I like that.
Okay, so this is called the McLobster. I'll describe it a little bit for you.
Oh, no.
So the McLobster is a sandwich consisting of lobster meat, diced celery, shredded lettuce, salad dressing, served, I kid you not, on a hot dog styled bun. Where do you
Singapore.
Nope. I don't know if you're gonna get this one.
McLobster. Let me take another guess. Portugal.
Nope. This is served.
UAE.
Nope. This is served throughout Canada.
Canada.
Yep, the McLobster, because it's Atlantic lobster. All right, Jared. Where do you think the Mega Mac is served? And a Mega Mac, just for you and all of our listeners, the Mega Mac is really a double Big Mac. Instead of 2 all-beef patties, you get 4. You still get the special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, and onions served on a sesame seed bun.
McDonald's should be arrested for crimes against humanity.
Right? The Mega Mac is not yet available in the United States, but you can order the sandwich in many countries in the world, such as, what do you think? Where can you get that Mega Mac?
Netherlands.
Nope.
Indonesia.
You're getting warmer.
Singapore.
Thailand. Yes, Singapore's one. There's 4 other countries you can buy this in. So you got one, Singapore, yes.
Are they in similar area?
A few of them are.
Taiwan, China.
China, yes. Boom.
Okay. Japan.
Yep, good. You got 3. 2
Really?
more left.
It's interesting that they're offering in Korea.
Not in Korea, or at least not.
It's interesting that they're offering something bigger in other countries than they would have in America. I almost feel like if Americans find out about that, they're gonna be fucking pissed.
Right.
You
got 2 more
left. Are they all in the similar region?
One's in Europe. One's in Europe, and one is
Russia.
Nope. I don't think you're gonna get this. I'll just tell you these: Turkey.
Okay.
And Australia.
Okay. Interesting.
Do you know what
it's
they
just
call?
Just more patties.
Yeah, it's literally 4 meat patties. It looks like a hamburger, like a McDouble.
Australia kind of makes sense. I think they like to.
It literally just looks like a hamburger, and then you put 2 more patties underneath it and another bun at the bottom.
Do you remember the McGangbang? Which that was a homemade one.
Yeah, can you explain that to our listeners out there?
The McGangbang was when you ordered. Was it a? I don't know what the burger was that you ordered because I never actually did it myself.
Wasn't it a McDouble? Isn't it a McDouble and 2 McChickens or something like that?
Yes, but I just didn't know what the burger was. I don't know if it was like a quarter pounder or what. But yeah, essentially it's a McDouble then. And then what you do, is it 2 McChickens?
Or is it 1? I don't remember. I've never actually ordered
then you stick
one.
either a McChicken or 2 in there and make it one burger, and then you eat that, and then you
die.
shoot yourself after and die like Elvis.
So it is, let's see here. Good old Urban Dictionary. Okay, so it's a tasty sandwich combination from McDonald's off the dollar menu. You order 1 double cheeseburger. Oh, this might be interesting. 1 spicy McChicken sandwich. Split the double cheeseburger between the 2 patties, and then put the entire McChicken sandwich inside the double cheeseburger. And yeah, so there you go. McGangbang.
Oh man! All right, do you have any more?
Only in America. Yeah, I got a couple more.
enjoy this.
I got a couple more. All right, so that was McDonald's. Oh wait, I got one more for McDonald's for you. This is called Chicken McDo, MCDO. It's a single piece of fried chicken, usually a leg, served with spaghetti topped with a meat sauce.
Not Italy. That seems too easy.
Nope.
That seems like
I'm gonna say though, this promo picture I'm looking at looks more like rice than it does spaghetti.
Is it also an Asian market thing?
Yeah.
China?
Nope.
Japan?
Nope.
Singapore?
Nope.
I keep wanting to guess Singapore. I feel like there's a lot going on in Singapore that we don't pay attention to.
Not
I mean,
Singapore.
I want to say they seem to have their shit together, but they also seem like they could relax a little bit on those rules. Like, in order to have your shit together, you almost have to live like a what's the Brave New World lifestyle? I don't know. I can't think of the countries. Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines.
The Philippines is where that.
See, I'm dancing around there.
Yeah, you were getting close. All right, so now here's a couple different places. This is from Pizza Hut, and this is called the Crown Crust Pizza. It is a pizza, I kid you not, with mini cheeseburgers baked into the crust. It resembles a crown, hence the name. And it's topped with beef lettuce, tomato slices, and drizzled with special Pizza Hut sauce. If cheeseburgers aren't the thing, you can order the pie filled with chicken fillets instead.
All I imagine is people on rascal scooters right now. That's all I can see in my head.
Fair.
Is just rascal scooters rolling up
Which
to...
country are they riding around in these rascal scooters, Jared?
Listen, Chad, this is an international podcast. I'm not here to offend anyone. So you leave it up to your own imagination. When you hear Rascal Scooters, listener, and you, Chad, you just put whatever you want behind that.
Well, where do you think it's from? The Crown Crust Pizza.
America, please?
Nope. Middle East.
Oh.
None of these are from America. I will tell you that right now.
Okay. All right.
I'll just give you that. All right. Ooh, this one's pretty crazy. This sounds like something that would be in America, but okay. So this is also by Pizza Hut. Hot dog stuffed crust pizza. Succulent hot dog stuffed crust with a free mustard drizzle on your pizza.
Oh, thanks. Free. Thanks.
So right here, this little write-up says, while you can only get cheese stuffed crust pizza in America, you can now have hot dogs baked into a stuffed crust in the
Can
blank.
you?
Which country, Jared?
That's the thing, though. Oh, that's the thing. I can't, like, after I eat one of
gross.
those, I couldn't even eat a slice of that with that. Like, even if I enjoyed it, which if I enjoyed it, there's already, seek help if you enjoy that.
Right.
But if you do enjoy it, after a slice, I'd be like, all right, I think I'm done eating for a week.
That's fair. Where do you think it's from, though?
Canada?
Okay, well, apparently now they do sell it in Canada, but it originated in the UK.
Huh. Okay. That's surprising.
Right?
I don't know. It just really makes you second guess some of this quote unquote class that we think other countries
have. It does,
have.
doesn't it? All right, I want to give you
by the way,
more. Yeah?
Can I give you one real quick?
Yeah, sure.
We were talking about colors being an issue.
Mm-hmm.
There is a purple McShake.
Ooh, gross.
And it's interesting that it's a purple McShake because it's sweet potato based.
Interesting. Okay.
But it is purple. And once again, I think you're right about the color purple being an issue because it is off-putting.
I would agree.
Also, I'm looking at a picture of the mixed spaghetti now. I just scrolled down a little bit in my notes, and it is also off-putting. Also, that box does not look like it's structurally ready to hold spaghetti.
I would agree with you.
Where do you think the purple McShake is at?
Oh. Probably
it's
probably
sweet potato based.
Probably like Japan?
Yeah, wow.
That was a lucky guess. I feel like
and China, but yes.
Okay. I could see that. I
And
feel
they
like they
have,
do interesting thing like display with their food in Japan.
And they have a slew of eclectic shake flavors, namely it's matcha, peach.
Oh, matcha is really good.
Hokkaido melon. What's matcha?
Matcha is like
isn't not matcha. Sorry, matcha.
or yeah, sorry, matcha. Yeah, it's a type of
tea.
tea.
Is that what you meant as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's matcha tea. It's really good.
Oh, yeah, the green powder tea.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Which is just green tea, but it looks like it's processed to be finer and probably more concentrated.
I think it has more. Yeah, it has more caffeine in it. I like the taste of it. All right, Jared, I got one for you. Where do you think the pumpkin burger is from? It contains 2 slices of squash. Although the squash, I guess, looks kind of like pumpkin, bacon, lettuce, an all-beef patty, and a creamy nut sauce made from peanuts, cashews, sesame seeds, almonds, and hazelnuts.
India.
Not India.
Pakistan.
Nope.
Am I close?
You got to go further east.
Oh, China, Japan. All these things are in this part of Asia.
Yep, the pumpkin
We're
burger
really
from
missing
Burger King in Japan.
Did you know, by the way, this is an American one, but did you know that there's a popular, I want to see if you can guess. There's a popular, what's the word I'm looking for? Popular chain, I'd say one of the top ones in America, that offers you a vegan option, or veggie option, rather, shall I say? Not vegan, but I'll say vegetarian.
Probably McDonald's, right?
Yes, but no. No. McDonald's offers a grilled cheese, but I think they recently discontinued that.
Okay.
But that is not who I was talking about. And the grilled cheese also seems disgusting because I think it's just patties smashed down and grilled with cheese in them. Burger King offers a veggie Whopper.
Oh yeah, I should know that because one of my friends is vegetarian, and that's where we went because that was like one of the few places where they had.
Did they order that?
I don't know. I think he might have just gotten fries. I'm not really sure.
Okay, because I'm saying you said that's why they go there, but it does
No,
not
no,
look
no.
good.
Like if you're out and about and like you're like in a car with 5 people and you got to get fast food, one of your friends is vegetarian.
Right.
That's the place. So this is
I'm
interesting.
about to road trip soon, and one of the things I'm excited about is eating shitty food.
There you go. Nice.
It's always a good excuse to be like, well, I'm going to stop here and just get a shake and fries to keep me going for the next 3 hours.
Right, for sure. What's interesting is in New Zealand, at Mickey D's, they have Georgie pies, which are. Do you know what those are? It's like a meat pie.
Yeah, I have. I know only because I've seen a picture of them, and those are also slightly off-putting to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's like one of those. It is. I think a meat pie is a typical British, Australian, New Zealand item, but this is like a bite-sized one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is. I'm looking. I thought I had a picture of it somewhere, but I can't find it. But it is. Here it is. I found it. It is interesting too to me that they offer it with French fries.
Yeah.
That seems like I don't know why that I find that interesting, but I'm going to be honest with you, man. It really it's hard to look at. I mean, it's not hard to look at per se, but it's like I don't trust anyone that's eating some of these things. Like that seems like the worst place to get a like a meat pie.
I would agree.
Ugh. It's hard for me to even like. Why are we doing this to ourselves anymore? Like, we can get cheap food that's not this shitty. It's possible to be done. We do not have to settle for what's happening to us right now. But people love that familiarity, and this stuff works. And the fact that they figured this out is amazing to me. In Guatemala, they have an interesting dessert from your favorite.
I know what it is.
The Ruth Chocodilla.
Yep, the Chocodilla. Yep.
Which also, what the fuck are we doing to ourselves? Not America,
The
world.
Yeah, I don't know.
What are we doing to ourselves? This is a crime against humanity. What I'm looking at right now.
I would agree.
This is what you do when you're at like the lowest part of your life, and you're like, shit, I need some sort of positivity in my life. I have nothing. All I have is a hot plate, some tortillas, and I stole some Baby Ruths from a goddamn grocery store.
Right.
And so what it is, the Baby Ruth Chocodilla is literally just melted Baby Ruths in a tortilla shell, like in a quesadilla tortilla shell, and then you just make it like a quesadilla, but with Baby Ruths in there. Who thinks of this? Who greenlights this? Who orders this?
Yeah, I don't know.
Kill all of them.
Yeah,
This is offensive to me,
idea.
and it blows my mind that like I almost. I like this because we spend a lot of time on this podcast talking about. Granted, these are all American companies, but we spend a lot of the time on this podcast shitting on on America and talking about how there's a lot that America can learn. And it's like these are what have been market tested and proven to be big sellers in other countries. So like, it seems like the lowest of the low to me, where you're literally just doing straight up broke stoner shit. I mean, that's what Taco Bell has made their name, is stoner shit.
True. That is
but
true.
this is taking stoner shit to the next level. This is like, fuck it. One of our employees has constantly been late, and we don't want to fire him because it's really hard in the job industry these days. So now we're just using his ridiculous, like all the crazy shit that he comes up with, and just putting it on our shelves in different test markets. For example, his paycheck didn't come in for another couple of days, but he had some old stale Babe Ruth from Babe Ruth from like 3 Halloweens ago. I'm literally offended by this.
Yeah, I can tell you're livid. Well, Jared, hopefully I can calm you down a little bit by giving you a useful.
We've been going on for a while. I didn't even realize. I mean, we don't have to, but I just didn't realize how long we've been going.
Right. Well, hopefully, Jared, I can
but
calm you down a little bit with a new Czech word of the pod.
Yeah. Okay.
So I wanted to do one that's somewhat related to food, since that is our topic this episode. And this word has come in really handy while I've been here in the Czech Republic. And the word is tady. And tady means here. So if you go order your food, like there's a place I go to. And
How do you say to go?
Sebo.
Okay. See, I know it's only one word. And by the way,
Hezký kluk.
but I figured I'd also give you that, as a teacher, you always like to challenge your students. And it's like,
for
yes,
sure.
good job. You did your assignment. Let's push it a little bit farther.
I appreciate that.
Further? I think it's further. would be the proper-
Further, but yeah.
Let's push it a little bit further.
But yeah, and this word has become very useful for me because there's a few places I'll go to here, and my Czech now is getting good enough where I can order everything. I'm not a huge fan of tomatoes, so there's a place where I go and they usually put tomatoes in their stuff, and so I'll say in Czech without tomatoes,
Mama hoo
and blah blah blah.
How are you with people telling you the cost?
That's fine. My numbers are getting there.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, slowly but surely.
This is how a polyglot is formed, people.
That's true.
You're witnessing before your very ears.
That's true. So to all of our
We
listeners
should be
out there,
charging for this shit.
we should be. For all of our listeners out there, if you're ever in the Czech Republic and they ask you tady, that just means do you want to eat it here?
Chad has been changing my mind on Czech music. Turns out all it takes is for them to speak English.
That's
And
fair.
you can make a good song. No, I'm kidding. So the song of the pod for today is your choice. You provided us with this, and it's how do you say that? I'm gonna take a guess
Yuri-
before you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just go ahead. Just say it.
Yuri, what's the last
Can't
name? How would you say the last
Can't
name?
even pause for a second and let me just get a word out. Oh my god. The last name Maršíček.
Wow, great job. I think you deserve a hezký kluk. Paráda.
Okay.
Hezký kluk. Yeah, so it's the
boy.
the
Slave recollections.
Oh God. Not what I was trying to go for there either. But anyways, yeah, Yuri Maršíček. Yeah, trio. The
Maršíček.
Yuri Maršíček trio. The song is called I Got a Feeling. Or no, sorry, that's the album. The song is called Help Me Through the Day.
So first what I want to do is give my impression on the song, and I'll give my impression essentially first by reading the bio off their website, because I want to know a little bit about them.
Okay.
And I want to read their bio to you
Yeah, go
Yidi's
for it.
bio. Yidi, how do you say it?
Well, it's got the
Yidi.
Yuri.
Yiri, who's 27, has been immersed into the blues since he was a teenager, listening to the electric blues guitar greats such as Freddie King, B.B. King,
And Albert
Otis,
King? Oh, damn. I was hoping they give us
Otis-
all three kings. Anyway, sorry.
Otis Rush, Magic Sam, as well as soul singers like Al Green and Otis Redding. A lot of Otises and Kings. With these influences, he has created his own distinctive style that is deeply rooted in the African American music of the 20th century. And I mean, that in itself, that is a better explanation than I could have ever given about how, if you were going to ask me, what do I think of the music? That's exactly what I would have said to you.
Okay.
Is
that's
that he's
fair.
it's clearly so heavily influenced by. I mean, I don't know if I would have said those people specifically, but I would have said that he's clearly influenced by the blues greats of America. That's clearly what he's going for, or trying to.
Oh, definitely.
Which obviously there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just very obvious that that's who he's influenced by.
Mm-hmm.
On his musical journey, he has headed. On his musical journey, he has backed American singers such as Sharon Lewis, Lorenzo Thomas, Marilyn Oliver, and Morganfield Brothers, son of Muddy Waters, apparently. Do you know any of these people? Besides Muddy Waters?
I know
Because
Muddy
that doesn't-
Waters.
I know, but that doesn't count because he's
Right.
one of the legends.
Right. Yeah, I've never heard of any of the
the
other
band
ones.
were made up of his sons, I believe.
Right.
Or just anyway, okay. So and then the band includes Jan Kozinek, Kozinek
Mm-hmm.
of the Hammond organ, and Tomas Voruka on drums.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah, and they're it's a blues song, and that seems to be all their songs are probably blues, I would imagine. And they sing. I don't know if all of their songs are in English, but this one is. I was kind of interested to hear before I realized it was in English, because I didn't even look at the title, to be honest with you, before I played it. Before I realized it was in English, I was really hoping to hear blues sang in Czech to hear what that would sound like. To hear like straight up blues, like we know as Americans,
Right.
instrumentally and melodically. However, with spoken in Czech, I was very interested to hear that. Then although I will say, they're speaking English with a very obvious European accent, and I mean I wouldn't guess Czech if I didn't know it was Czech accent, but it's very clearly that they're Europeans. Like that's obvious.
Yeah, I would agree with you, but I don't see any Czech on there, unfortunately.
Okay. But yeah, I like it. How'd you hear about these guys?
So the jazz club I went to, sadly, I missed them by an evening, but I was hoping to go see them live. But I'm gonna look and see if I can find them again and go see them live because, yeah, it seems like a great group of a great trio. Really enjoy. Who knows? Maybe I can talk them into letting me sit in with them and jam with them. That'd be pretty sweet.
Would you be willing to there's only 3 of them. Would you be willing to give up some of your necessity and need for the limelight and being in front and being praised and be like, I can be a rhythm guitarist?
I mean, I would gladly play rhythm guitar. It'd be a lot of fun.
By the way, I just made all it up. I just, for anyone out there, I just wanted to see if Chad would object to me saying all those lies about him. You would gladly be the rhythm guitarist?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Rhythm guitar can be fun, especially if you're playing with a good group, and they seem like they're a pretty good group, I would say. So, check out our Song of the Pod on our Twitter. Also, we now have a playlist of all our Songs of the Pod on our YouTube channel, so check that out.
Yes.
Untranslatable
And check out our
podcast.
episodes on YouTube if you'd like.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I got excited.
You're good.
Because I've actually been listening to it.
Nice. Yeah, it's great.
But yeah,
I've been
we
going
do
back
have
and listening to it as well.
Untranslatable Podcast is our YouTube channel as well. And we are on YouTube if you want to listen to our podcast there. There's no video yet. However, I'm working on it. It's just I'm trying to make it work with my week-old computer.
Right.
And trying to figure out the best ways to make it happen. But if you stay with us long enough, there will be video done by me, no one else, or Chad. I guess Chad could do it too if he wants.
I'll let you take the credit for it. It's all good. All right, Jared. Well, it's come to that time where I need to share some jokes with you.
Okay.
So I try to find some.
Was right there.
Yeah, maybe I should stop while I'm ahead, right? All right, I got some food jokes for you, Jared. Okay. How do you learn how to make ice cream?
I don't know.
In Sunday school.
That's a good one.
Yep.
I like that.
Yep. How does Reese eat her ice cream?
How does Reese? Why Reese? I'm trying to figure out why the name would be Reese.
When I give you the punchline, you'll know.
I know. I was like, there's clearly a reason why you just said Reese.
Uh-huh.
But I can't figure it out. What is it?
With her spoon. Like Reese Witherspoon, right?
I got you. It did
right?
take a minute, though. Because at first I was thinking there might be a connection to the Reese cups. And I was like, all right, I see with her. I was like, all right, I got you. I like that one. That was a good play on words.
That's a good one, right? All right, Jared. What is the difference between a pizza and my pizza jokes?
One of them's actually consumable to mankind.
You're not wrong, but I would say the correct punchline is my pizza jokes can't be topped.
Oh my god. What are we doing with our lives?
All right, Jared. Why don't Americans eat snails?
Because they can't. Because something about escargot.
Nope. Because they like fast food.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah. See,
that was very apropos to today's episode.
That's the one I should have ended on, but I got one more good one for you.
Okay, that's okay.
Why do hamburgers go to the gym?
Why's that?
To get better buns.
All right, I like it. That's a strong end still. That's still a strong fast food end.
Right. I figured it'd be good. All right, well, Jared, yes. I really appreciate you enlightening me about different fast foods around the world. I hope...
Likewise.
Yeah, it was a good episode. I hope all of our listeners enjoyed. But now it's come to that time to end us with a quote. And I found a good quote related to fast food by none other than the... what would you call her? The Queen of Soul, right?
Of course.
Aretha Franklin. And it is... Occasionally, I will still have that quarter pounder because I love fast food. but you have to keep it to a minimum. So to all of our listeners out there, if you want to have your, what was that called? That the weird looking pie, taro pie.
Taro pie.
If you want to have them in moderation. Keep it to a minimum.
Only one taro pie a week.
That's right, exactly.
Oh,
well, we thank you. Please reach out to us.
Slipping on gator piss.
That's definitely what happens if you don't keep your fast food to a minimum, for sure. But yeah, so please contact us on Twitter at Untranslatable1. Shoot us an email at untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com. If you enjoy our songs of the pod, please take a look on YouTube. You can find them at our Untranslatable Podcast YouTube channel. Also, please check out our Instagram page. Follow us. We have lots of different travel pictures, video clips, sound clips of highlights of our episodes. So take a look at those, and we really appreciate your support, and we look forward to hearing from you next time.